of $75 million needs to be identified. I mean, that's a fair assumption, is it not, Mr. Tyne? Somewhere in the neighborhood. It could be 60, it could be 90, but let's just say somewhere around $75 million.
At this point, I really have no idea.
Right. So were you involved in the discussions with the chancellor and the teachers union where there was a confirmation that the funds were available?
I had no meetings with the chancellor or the teachers union about confirmation of funds.
And so based on what would you then believe, what would the confidence be based on that these funds are available? Because, what I see as a potential effect here is that we don't have the information that Dr. Gandhi has committed to review, in other words, the contract with specificity, until after this budget process is much farther down the road. In other words, it's conceivable that the contract, and what we approve, to be sure, is the money. The mayor simply approves the changes in the work rules. We don't get that. We just get the money. That's all we get. So we don't have an up or down vote on the work rules. So it's possible that we wouldn't get the transmission on the financial aspect, for another month or a month and a half. Is that possible? Well, let me ask it differently, Dr. Gandhi, and this I'll direct to you, and you can defer to your staff if you like. Based on having received the contract last Thursday, when do you expect to be able to certify that the funds are present? This seems to be very tricky, because I don't want us to be basing that yes, the funds are available based on some future reduction somewhere, because this is where it's headed. In the absence of funds set aside for this purpose, the money has to come out of the existing DCPS budget, or we're going to have to rob another Peter to pay this Paul. And invariably the easiest way to come up with that money is through additional reductions in force within the teaching ranks. That's how this raise is going to be paid for, unless we can identify the funds now. So, Dr. Gandhi, when would we expect to have your certification, and it would really require a work plan, your certification and a superintendent work plan on how this will happen? When would we expect that?
My expectation is that in a matter of very few weeks that we would have that information and our fiscal impact statement.
So it may be a combination of these private funds. And I understood, is it $65 million a year, or is it $65 million over a couple of years in private funds? That's unclear to me. Could someone provide some clarification? Do we expect it to be $65 million in private funds annually, or is that for 2 years? How does that work?
We are examining that currently, sir.